Hi everyone, and welcome to our gathering video for May 2nd, 2021. My name is Ann Ellis, and I am the Children, Youth, and Family Minister at Mount Seymour United Church. And wow, we're already in May. That is really hard to believe. We're still in the season of Easter. You'll remember that Easter is a season that lasts for 50 days from Easter Sunday until Pentecost, which this year is on May 23rd. We spend time in the Easter season because Easter is strange and mysterious, and Jesus dying and coming back to life, being crucified and resurrected is a mystery for us to take time to think about and really try to come to understand. So we're still in the mystery of Easter, and we're still exploring it. Today I'm going to share another story with you about Jesus visiting his friends after Easter, so after the resurrection, and a little bit more about what that might mean. For our activity at the end of the video, we don't really have one this week. I am going to show you how to do something, but it's a little bit complicated and you might not have all the supplies at home. You'll remember that during the season of Lent, which is the 40 days and 6 Sundays before Easter, here at the church we had our wish tree. And our tree was outside where people could come by and they could write their wishes on tags and hang them on our tree. And I've taken all of the tags off of our tree now. It's starting to grow leaves, and hopefully in another few weeks it might have flowers. It's a dogwood, so I'm hoping that it'll grow some pretty flowers for us. But I took all these wishes off of the tree, and we're going to do something special with them. We are going to turn them into seed paper. I'm going to show you how to take paper that you might recycle or scraps of paper and turn it into new paper. And in that new paper, we're going to put wildflower seeds. And then when that seed paper is ready, we'll be able to give them to you and your family and other people at the church. And we'll take all of these wishes and we'll plant them in creation. So we're going to start that at the end of the video. It takes a little bit of time, so we'll do that over a couple weeks of videos. You'll also want to make sure that you have your Lord's Prayer booklet for the end of the video for our closing prayer. And you'll remember that we still have some rocks out and about, and you're invited to paint some rocks. This one says hope. Go and put them out for a scavenger hunt and join North Shore Rock Hunt. That's another activity you can do at the end of this video. But in the meantime, let's take a moment and prepare ourselves to listen and to be together and worship God. The opening prayer that we're doing this season is a call and response prayer. If you've been watching our videos since Easter, you will know that we are practicing a call and response. So I say a line and then you have a response to that line. And I've got cue cards so that we can all practice. So I start by saying, God be with you. And you say, and also with you. Lift up your hearts. We lift them to God. Let us give thanks to God. It is good to give God thanks and praise. Amen. This week, as we light our candle, maybe, well, we're not going to light the candle with that match. Let's try another one. There we go. Sometimes it can feel like the light is a little tricky to find, and that's okay. Because even if we don't have the light of our candle, we know that the light shines within each and every one of us, and that each and every one of us is welcome. We are all welcome here, and you are welcome here. If this is your first time tuning into a video, or if you've been watching videos since we started way back in September, and you are welcome here no matter how old or how young you may be, your marital status, your financial background, and you are welcome here, whatever your sexual orientation, your gender identity, or gender expression. You are welcome here. You are welcome here if you consider yourself to be a Christian, or if you're part of another religion or faith tradition, or if you're not a part of any religion at all and are simply curious. You are welcome here. We welcome everybody who seeks the ideals of justice, peace, and compassion. And we take a moment now to honor the land on which our building, Mount Seymour United Church, rests, where I have the honor of living in North Vancouver, which is also known as the land for the Tsleil-Waututh and the Coast Salish and the Squamish and the Musqueam, who have been stewards of this land from time immemorial. And we express our gratitude for their careship of this land, and we are grateful to them for having this place where we can live and work and play. So as I said at the beginning of this video, we're continuing with stories that take place after Easter, the strange and mysterious time when Jesus appeared to his disciples and his friends even after death. And this is another one of those stories. This week, the story is from the book of Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 to 20 and 28 to 35. Are you ready to hear the story? Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 to 20 and 28 to 35. One day, 2 of Jesus' disciples were walking to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked, Jesus himself came up and walked among them, but they were kept from recognizing him. He said, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" And they stood still, their faces downcast. One of them asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed, before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him." As they approached the village where they were going, Jesus made to continue on, as if he was going further. But they said to him, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening, and the day is almost over." So he went and stayed with them. When they were sitting at the table, and the bread was served, he took the bread, and he gave thanks, and he broke it, and he began to give it to them. Their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" They got up at once and returned to Jerusalem. There they found the others assembled together, saying, "It is true. The Lord has risen and has appeared to his disciples." Then the two told them how they recognized Jesus when he broke the bread. So I wonder why Jesus didn't want the disciples to recognize him right away. And I wonder why eating together is what caused them to see. And I wonder how you would feel in a situation like this. One of the reasons that we celebrate communion, the breaking of bread and the sharing of juice or wine at church, is because this was something that Jesus did very regularly with his friends before his death, and it helped his friends and disciples to understand the importance of Jesus' lessons after he died. When we have communion today, whether it's at the church or at home, the idea is to welcome Jesus into our homes, just like the disciples did in Emmaus. And even though they didn't know it was Jesus when they did, it's a kind and helpful thing to do, to welcome the stranger and take care of each person who comes into our lives. And that's something else that we're invited to do because of Jesus and his disciples. And we can't do that in the same way as we might have before because of COVID. But we can continue to find ways to be welcoming and supportive of others during this time. Perhaps with donations to food banks or other organizations that are supporting people in these hard times. And sometimes it's as simple as smiling with your eyes over your mask to the people that you see when you're out and about. That tiny little thing of smiling with your eyes can be transformative for people. It can give them hope, and you just never know. Maybe the stranger you smile at, the stranger who you give hope to, is really Jesus in disguise. And speaking of transformative, when we decided it was time to take the wishes off of our wish tree, which I've done, I wanted to do something transformative with them, which is where the idea of the seed paper came from. And when we have this paper made from everybody's wishes, we get to transform them all into creation, into flowers and plants that will feed birds and bees and butterflies and bring beauty into this world. And then everybody can share in each other's wishes, and we can help them to grow. And I'm finding that really, really exciting. So, to get started on making seed paper, the first thing that I'm going to need to do is to take all of the strings off of the tags. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So I'm here in the kitchen of Mount Seymour United Church, and I'm getting ready to make our seed paper. I've taken all of the strings off of the paper, and so the next step is to get some bowls full of water. So we've got the seed paper, well, not quite the seed paper, all of the wishes in a basket, and I've got some bowls with water in them. And the next step for the wishes is to soak them in water overnight. So we've got the wishes soaking. I also have some of the papers that were left in the prayer wall. These blue ones are from the Christmas and Lent Advent season. I'm gonna soak them in water as well. And then we've got purple ones from the season of Lent, and I'm gonna put them in a bowl of water too, because we can use the colored papers along with the white paper to make colorful seed paper. So these are our people's prayers from the prayer wall in the blue and the purple, and they will also get mixed in with everybody's wishes, and then we will plant and grow prayers and wishes. All right, let's leave this for now, and we'll check in with our paper tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day, and I am back in the kitchen of the church, and we are going to see how our seed paper is doing. Let's check it out. Today we're gonna start making the seed paper. So the supplies that I have for that is a food processor, generously donated to us by the thrift shop. Thanks so much, Alexis. You don't want to use probably your food processor that you use for food, because it might be hard to get clean. I've also got a tray for blending up the papers, and I've got some different packages and bowls of wildflower seeds, some different butterfly blends that we're going to put into the paper. And then finally, a tray with a bit of gauze stretched over it to help create a surface for the paper to dry on. Okay, so now we're gonna make paper out of paper. So what we need to do is we need to take the wish paper and water, and we're gonna put it into the food processor. Okay, so what we need to do is we're just gonna put the food processor. I'm just trying to get the camera. Okay, we good? Okay, so food processor, wish tags. We don't want to put too many in at once because I don't know how this is gonna all work out. And we'll also need to add more water. So, hold on one second. I'm gonna get some water. Okay, I've got water. I don't actually know how much water to paper to put in. This is a bit of a trial and error sort of situation we've got going. Let's see how we do. Now we've got water and wishes, and we're gonna hit blend. check it out. We made mush. So we're going to take this paper mush that we just made, and I'm going to put it into this pan. Which is pretty mushy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend up some of the blue paper and then some of the purple paper so that we can have some different colors. So I'm going to do that. So we've made the pulp. It's super watery, and we want it to be watery. I've learned that. This is the second round of blending. My first round, I learned a bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this tray here that I've got some gauze stretched over, and we're going to start spreading it out and squishing it down on this gauze. Now I'm putting the gauze on the cookie sheet for a couple of reasons. One, it'll help create a little bit of a drainage surface for some of this excess water. And it will be, well, I'm going to take this tray home, and I'm going to lift the gauze off the cookie tray and put it on another rack so it can get air from all sides, and hopefully that'll help it to dry out a little bit faster and a little more evenly. So when I was talking about making the seed paper with my family and with my son, he was talking about how he thought that it felt kind of wrong. He felt bad that we were going to tear up and destroy people's wishes and prayers, and he thought that felt weird. And I'll admit that it was a little bit uncomfortable to know that I was going to blend up and, you know, kind of destroy other people's wishes and prayers. But there's something about that really speaks to the mystery of Easter. We call the day that Jesus was crucified Good Friday. Like, what's good about Jesus dying, and what's good about suffering and destruction and sadness? And I think the story, the reason we call it Good Friday is because for Easter to happen, for the resurrection to happen, for transformation to happen, some destruction is needed. And for us to turn these wishes into a garden with our flowers, we need to destroy the paper so we can make this pulp. And from this destruction, there is transformation and new life and a new way of the wishes and the prayers being in the world, which is very much the Easter mystery. And so we take these wishes and these prayers and destroy them, yes, but in the destruction we are transforming them, and we are transforming them into something absolutely beautiful and amazing. And I kind of like that. So I'm flat pushing the paper pulp as flat as I can on this gauze, and there's quite a lot of water beating up down in the bottom, and that's good. That's what I want. And I'm going to just finish filling up this cookie tray with some of the paper pulp and getting it nice and flat. And I really like how the different colors are making this paper, what will be paper, really, really pretty. I'm just gonna flatten it out. A little bit more. So then what we want to do is we're going to take the wildflower seeds, and I bought some different packages of wildflower seeds. So I got these ones. They are a butterfly mix, very pretty. And I got another kind. These are also a butterfly mix of flowers. And I'm going to take the seeds and I'm going to sprinkle them on the paper. Give them a little sprinkle. There we go. Like that. Maybe in some of this area where it's a bit denser, I'll spread them out a little bit. And then I'll give them a little pat. They're going to try and hold them into the paper so they stay when the paper dries. So what I'm going to do with this is, after the video is over, I'm going to try to drain some of this water that's pooling down at the bottom of the cookie sheet. And then I'm going to take these trays home, and I'm going to take the rest of the pulp home, and I'm going to spread the rest of it out onto more gauze and more trays, and set it to drying. And we will check in with our paper next week in our next video. We're going to close our time together practicing the Lord's Prayer. We've been practicing it for a few weeks, and you'll remember there's a little booklet template that you can print out and make yourself a little book with all the words in it. That is in the email that came out to your families, and there's a link to it in the description below. So this week we're going to read the whole thing. I think we've pretty much practiced all the lines. We're going to read it through twice, so that will help us to learn this prayer. And again, we've spoken already about the use of language, and how if you want to change some of the language, the prayer begins with Our Father, and if you'd rather use Creator God, or just God, or Father and Mother, or some other piece of wording that works for you for naming God, you go right ahead and do that. For me, I like to use Our Father, and that's just for me, but you can do what you like, and it's all good. Okay, so let's practice. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power, the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Even reading, I mix up the kingdom, the power, and the glory every single time I read the prayer. Don't really know why that is. Let's practice that one more time. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you so much for being with me this week. I am looking forward to seeing you next week for our next video and checking in on our seed paper. Okay, see you soon. Bye.